Hello, Cousin Johnny here. We'd like to thank our sponsors for the Buzzin' with Cousins show. We thank you. Thank you, that garlic stuff. If you like garlic, you're going to love it. Put it on just about anything. That garlic stuff. Tuesday, Alvarado Farmers Market, or go to thatgarlicstuff.com. Thank you. Thank you, I Heart You Candles. Beautiful hand poured candles. These make special gifts. They're fantastic. Call Sherry at 574-9446 or go down and say hello right there on that walkway right in front of Fisherman's Wharf. Thank you, Sherry. I Heart You Candles. Thank you. Fremont Street. Grab and go healthy meals. They're delish. On your way from home from work, go grab some, heat them up, and fantastic. Thank you, Suds Cyber Laundry, 709 Lighthouse, Pacific Grove. Great modern machines, big screen TV, coffee, and a great friendly staff. Thank you, Suds. Thank you, the Whiskey Club, 425 Alvarado Street. Over 600 whiskeys to choose from. Go on in, relax, enjoy a nice whiskey. They also have a bottle shop. It's great. Great place to relax and enjoy. Tell them a cousin sent you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, storyteller, author, and all-around good guy, Tony Albano. Tony has written 3 books, the latest being Cherish, about a New York teenager and a nun find love. Thank you, Tony. And if you want to order the book or find out more about Tony, go to Tony, Tony, Albano, Albano, storyteller.com. Check it out. Thank you. Thank you, sponsors, for the Buzzin' with Cousins show. We thank you. Hello, how's everybody doing out there? Cousin Johnny here, bringing you another show. I got a great show planned. And before further ado, let me introduce our great guest. He's a bassist of the high-energy popular band in Monterey, the Transducers. Please welcome Sam Salerno. Sam, how you doing?
Cousin Johnny, really well. How you doing?
Great. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I could say now I got every transducer on.
I know. Yeah, it's sort of like a rite of passage. You haven't arrived until you're on your show. So thank you for having me. That's awesome.
Thank you for what you guys do in the community. So Sam, you grew up in Monterey or
Carmel? Yeah,
okay.
Carmel. Pretty much lived there my whole life. My dad came here in 1950 for a DJ job. He's a radio man, and then left for Vegas for several years, and then came back in the 60s. So we've been here ever since.
Now, where did your dad come from? Back east, or?
Yeah. Dad's family came from Pennsylvania originally, and then they moved out to Los Angeles, where Dad spent his teenage years and went to Belmont High, and then entered into service at the very end of World War II.
Now, growing up here in Monterey, and I'm a lot older than you, but I remember your dad on the radio. Was it KRML, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Dad owned the radio station for 10 years. He bought it in the late 60s, and that was an incredible time. And he was constantly battling these other radio stations for formats. So they had to keep changing the format. So he'd be jazz, and then he'd go rock. And I think he was really most popular when it was a rock format, because that was a classic age of Led Zeppelin and Kansas, those guys.
I remember they had the Jazz Festival live.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be like you could turn it on Friday night and continuous Monterey Jazz. You could hear the announcer announcing, you could hear the people clapping, and it was really great. I guess they don't do that anymore, but it was really a nice. You could be doing stuff around the house, and you got the Monterey Jazz Festival
Yeah,
playing.
there were a few people that were sore when my dad changed the format to rock. They were like, "Where's the jazz? What are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah,
Eventually went back to it. So, but yeah, dad dad had a big jazz background, especially in Vegas, where he worked for Louis Prima for a time.
wow, great, yeah.
He met Ella Fitzgerald, Lionel Hampton, all these people. So it's a big part of his background.
Was he on the in the radio station when "Play Misty for Me" the movie came out?
Yeah, it was incredible. So they filmed everywhere on location, all over the peninsula. So if you want a visual history of the Monterey Peninsula, just go watch that movie. That was Clint's directorial debut. Not a great movie, but you got to start somewhere. But
It was good. I liked it. Yeah, kind of like a Fatal Attraction.
it was, yeah, it was the first Fatal Attraction, I think, maybe. So they would film at night, and uh, Clint was tutored or mentored by Johnny Adams, who was another famous DJ in the area, and so he got a lot of good tutelage from those guys.
What I liked about it is that typically when they do a movie like they did Star Trek here and probably a couple hundred other movies, they change everything around. They changed the name of the bank. They changed but on that "Play Misty for Me," they left everything. The Sam Bar and Grill, and that was called the Windjammer at that time. The
Right.
sardine factory. They didn't change the guys at the sardine factory. They had the uniforms on that said sardine factory. I
Yeah.
think he wanted to give a plug to the peninsula, since
Yeah. Do you remember like when he'd walk out of the sardine factory and there was like nothing there? It was like a dirt field.
yeah,
Obviously it's changed a lot, but you really get a sense
remember, yeah.
of
And then
the
also your dad did the sports too, I remember.
Yeah, he was a broadcaster on KMST Channel 46. I guess it's KION now, and he was a sportscaster there for a few years, and that was fun because every once in a while he would bring me on. I don't know why. I was a little child, and he'd have me read the scores. And
Perfect.
there was one night where I didn't read the most important score that I was supposed to read. It was like the Giants game or an A's game, and he was afterwards. He's like, "Oh, what do you were supposed to read this score?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm 5 years old. I don't know what to do," or 6, or whatever it was.
Speaking of sports, you're a coach.
Yeah,
RLS.
I was a teacher for many years there, and I coached football and baseball, but just football now. But I've since moved on. I want to say it's retirement. It's I call it realignment, but yeah, it's essentially retirement. But I still coach football there, so I'm having a good time with that, and I love the game.
How many years were you a teacher there? That's your alumni too, right?
No, I went to Carmel High, the
Okay.
Padres. 26 years at the high school.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, how's the team doing? I saw a score. They beat a team from San Francisco, 48-zip. Right? Was that right?
Yeah, it's been a very competitive preseason. We lost in overtime to Greenfield, lost a very close game to Pacific Grove. So we're getting into league. I think we'll do pretty well in league, and we'll just have to see. But San Lorenzo Valley is our big competition this year, I think.
Okay. What conference are they in?
It's the Santa Lucia division.
Okay.
So it's sort of split into 3 different divisions, and we're kind of the lowest tier because we're so small.
I've noticed they've got some pretty good teams here the last couple of 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, the athletic director there has really taken it to another level. He's really brought a lot of new energy to the programs. So
great. So Sam, when did you pick up the bass? I mean, how did that happen?
I picked it up in high school. I actually started on the drums in middle school, and to this day, sort of regret not sticking with the drums because I adore drummers. They're like the Jedi to me, and I'm always fascinated with what they do. And obviously work closely with them in the rhythm section. But I took up the bass in high school, and then really started playing in earnest in college, taking private lessons and taking classes and stuff. And then later, I began working in musical theater at Stevenson, and then later at the Paperwing Theater. So it's been a long journey, but you never stop learning, and so I learn something new almost every day. So
Yeah, it's really great. Yeah. You ever played the stand up?
yeah, not much. I played about, I want to say 12 or 13 years ago. I was playing uh, mostly like bluegrass and stuff, but I just never I never really had the, I don't want to say the non-interest, but I just, I'm an electric bass player. That's how I was trained at
Yeah,
school, and
right.
that's my thing. I would love to play more if I could, but I just don't have. It takes a lot of time, and I'm just not doing that kind of genre of music. But I
Yeah,
admire those who do.
yeah. I had Catherine Lavin on here, I think a
Oh,
week,
she's
2 weeks ago, and she was saying that she bought she didn't even know they existed, but she bought a ukulele bass.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that she had that. I've got one myself, and they're wonderful. They're
It's
great.
like a rubber. It's like a rubber strings, right?
Yeah, and it gives you an upright sound. It's really good if you're in close quarters or you're in a pit where you
Yeah, she said it sounded like a upright bass.
yeah.
She was saying it's like a reggae
It
type
was
sound.
really nice to see. You could tell she was so happy and she was smiling about it. And
She was looking at you, bass. Yeah,
yeah, I was having fun watching her having fun. So
that was really great. That's how she started. Yeah, she said with the ukulele. Here's I got a photo here. You in action.
yes, yes. In my younger years, that was with an old band of mine called Stun Gun Jones. They were a great group of people, and that was I think probably the mid 2000s, like '05 or '06. Yeah, that's about that time too. Where are you getting all these things?
This is your life. You're gonna have your third grade teacher photo here coming
Yeah,
up. No, not really.
that's a Bill Brown photo, who photographer extraordinaire.
Great,
She edited.
great photographer. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sam, this is an unusual picture because I don't know. I'm not a bass player, but that bass looks gigantic. What is it?
It is. That is in our producer's studio, Terry Carlton, and he's a collector. And I think he had that particular bass especially made, and it's gigantic. It's heavy. It's like it weighs as much as a car. And for those who know, that headstock right there at the very end of the bass is the biggest headstock I've ever seen. It's right.
That's
Yeah,
it's
right
big.
there.
Well, I guess you got to sit down. You can't lug that thing around.
There is no way you could play that without breaking your back for sure.
How does it sound?
It sounds good. It sounds just like a regular bass, uh, but there's just no way you could really play that unless you were, 6'8", 400 pounds. It's
Yeah.
too good.
Now, when I had the other transducers on, they were saying that you guys were kind of like the band at the Paper Wing, right? Is that how you met and all that?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I met Taylor and I met about 8 years ago at the Paper Wing. She was hired to musically direct a show, and I was playing in the pit for it. And so that's how we met, and we did a couple more shows together. And really, our friendship and musical collaboration coalesced with the Rocky Horror Show, which is
yeah,
where the band's name comes from. So that's how we met, and we uh, later met Lisa at the Tribe in the Sky Urban Lounge Jam.
I Lisa was mentioning that she played that night, and then I think it was you that went up to her and asked her to join the band. Or
I no, it came a little time after that, but it
yeah,
was a magical night because for whatever reason, that jam didn't really have any bass players or drummers. So Lisa and I were the rhythm section for most of that night, and then Taylor
yeah.
came in. She didn't play, but we all met, and that's the rest is history. So it was a lot of fun.
Is that when you guys had the idea to have the band, the Transducers, or you guys were already playing and you needed a drummer?
We were in need of a drummer. Yeah. So
Okay.
the band officially started in 2017. but it took us a long time to get going because we were still committed to the musical shows at the Paper Wing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, COVID hit, and that slowed us down. But it did help us start to think about original music, which Lisa really nudged us along to really start developing that more. So we really took off, I'd say, 2.5 years ago.
Now, are you do you guys still play at the Paper Wing every now and then, or?
Well, Taylor is the musical director there, so she's still working there. Every once in a great while, I will do a show or I'll sit in. I did a jazz brunch show there a couple years ago, and I've sat in for some of the Rocky Horror shows. But they usually don't have live music for those shows.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror they do, but it's a small space. So, but obviously they're doing live shows there now.
It's a great theater, really is.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you could have live theater on Cannery Row. You could be, what I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a really nice space, and they're really starting to get it going now. It's feeling more and more like the old Paper Wing. Like the shows are more regular. They're shows that were done at on Hoffman in the original location. So going to a show there now it feels very much like the old days.
Really great. Yeah. I remember I was there that night at the Urban Lounge when Lisa went to play drums and you were playing bass. And so I'm sitting at the bar having a glass of wine, I think, and I don't know who it was, but there was a guy next to me and he tapped me on the shoulder and he goes, "Hey, cuz, there's a lady playing drums." Like, I mean, like it was like, unheard of or something. I was going, wow, yeah, she sounds good. So
yeah, you can only imagine she hasn't heard that kind of stuff before. But
that's really great.
It's about breaking.
I like her versatility. She plays with the blues band and she plays the rock band. A lot of versatility.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're very lucky.
Sam, you guys have been playing a couple of times at the Mountain Winery, right? At Adele's. Is that a little nightclub out in front or something? Or?
Yeah, we played 3 shows there this year. The pre-shows for Melissa Etheridge, Postmodern Jukebox in Kansas, which was a mind-blowing experience to see those guys. They were just off the charts, amazing.
That's historical.
Yeah, well, they did only have one of the original members on stage. They had a second one who had to drop out of the tour, but the music was just it was epic. It's spiritual. It's just glorious songs. So we had a good time.
So what's happening? What's on the agenda with the Transducers? Are you gonna? You got some shows lined up, or?
Yeah, we're playing today for the Flavors of PG, and then we've got a couple Salty Seal gigs coming up. We'll be at the Ghostland Festival in November. That's up in Santa Cruz, and then we have a really nice show coming up at the Paper Wing Theater, where we'll be the featured band. That's in November, and then after that, we're going to kind of wind it down a little bit and work on getting our album out, which is done, but we just have to do some post-production on it.
Oh, really? That's gonna be wow. Is it all originals? A couple?
It's all originals, yeah. All originals.
And that is congratulations on that. Keep us posted on that. You will really. We'd like to.
Yeah, it's a dream come true for a kid who grew up in a household with thousands of records and music playing all the time to know that I'll be able to put my record or our record up on the wall is just mind blowing.
That's really great. Yeah, and you guys played at wasn't it Big Sur? You've done that?
Yeah, we played out at Fernwood, and that was so much fun. I mean, you sort of have a captive audience because all the campers come in. You play really late in the evening. The locals come in, so we had a really, really fun time out there. And you really have to. You should do it and stay over.
You got to spend it. You can't drive back. I mean, it's pitch dark. It's. I mean,
but we were like, nah, we're not driving back.
You guys stayed?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, that's smart, and just relax after the gig, have a drink, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then a nice breakfast the next day, so it was fun. A lot of fun.
yeah, that sounds really good. So, Sam, I got a clip before I show a clip for the band. I noticed you have different members coming in every now and then to play with the transducers. Can you elaborate on that? Or
Yeah, we're in the process of finding a new guitar player. So we've had a variety of people come and sit in with us. Just amazing, gracious players, fantastic individuals. People like Kyle Kovalik and Jesse DiCarlo and Dan Choper, Tanner McAdams Downing. We have a good friend of ours, Joao Brandy from Sacramento, who's sitting in on a couple gigs with us. And that's been wonderful because it's given us a chance to sort of reshape our repertoire and sort of go places we haven't gone necessarily before. And the hope is to find a permanent resident in the new year.
yeah, and you've got Arno on the sax every now and then. That adds a little different.
Oh yeah, Arno's amazing. He sits in periodically with us. He'll be with us this Saturday at the Salty Seal. So and then a couple of other shows as well. And he is so much fun to play with. He's got a great sense of humor, wonderful player. So he fits in pretty well.
And you got Lisa on drums, and yourself on bass, and Taylor
on keyboards,
keyboard, and also vocals.
Yeah,
and I noticed you do a couple vocals yourself.
Yeah, we all sing in the band, and all of us. Well, all of us want to keep improving and getting better. We all love to sing, so but obviously Taylor sort of carries the load on that side of things.
Well, all I gotta say is you guys are high energy, a fun band, and it's a pleasure to hear the Transducers.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, well, we're kind of goofy, so we have fun on stage, and
nothing wrong with being goofy.
Yeah, what's not to
look at this. So anyway, I got a clip to show everybody. We're gonna sign off by playing a clip of the Transducers. I think it's at O'Callahan's, which is a nice venue that you guys have played at. I want everybody.
Yeah.
I thank everybody for tuning in. I thank you for coming on, Sam. I know I've wanted to have you on for a while. And looking forward to seeing the band. And if you have anything you want to, if you want to post something on Buzzing with Cousin page, if you got a gig coming up or your CD release or whatever you want, you just go ahead. Feel free to do it.
Well,
Sam, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Cousin Johnny. It's been a pleasure.
And thanks here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the Transducers. That I've been such a fool. Okay, the Transducers. Sam, thank you very much. So
Thank
thank
you,
you
Cousin
for
Jerry.
tuning in. And Sam Salerno and Cousin Johnny out. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you next week. Bye.